Jain friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the latest news of the day. Now, Nawaz Sharif landed in Pakistan, and then he landed in Lahore. He went to Lahore and then he landed in Pakistan. Pakistan is, something very close to Pakistani hearts, and it is a place that is very dear to Pakistanis for various historical reasons into which I will not go right now. But there he made a speech in front of thousands upon thousands of people. Some say lakhs. I don't know how many people were there, but Nawaz Sharif made a speech. And as usual, he had to mention Kashmir, and he said that we should amicably resolve the Kashmir issue with India. And he also said that we should be friends with our neighbours. And on top of that, Nawaz Sharif said that you can't be fighting with your neighbours and try to be friends with the rest of the world. Now, these are sane words. These are sane words coming from Nawaz Sharif. But let me tell you, when he says that we should be friends with India, I don't think India wants to be friends with the Pakistanis. And the last person who can claim friendship with India is any Prime Minister of Pakistan, because the foreign policy of Pakistan is not controlled by the Prime Minister, it's controlled by the Army Chief. And I'll tell you, I'll just explain very briefly. So the foreign policy with China, with Afghanistan, with the United States of America, with India, is all controlled by GHQ Rawalpindi. The Army Chief personally controls all this. Now, how Pakistan will position itself with regard to Tanzania or Ivory Coast or Congo, this is something that the civilians can look after. And the army has got no problem. I mean, the Prime Minister can get on a dais and thunder against, the Democratic Republic of Congo and say that I don't like Congo. He can say that. Nobody's stopping him. But as soon as he starts saying something about the foreign policy of China, Afghanistan, US and India, that is where things get very jittery for the Prime Minister. Number two, what Nawaz Sharif said in his speech was, had Bangladesh not separated from Pakistan, and if it had remained East and West Pakistan like it was before 16th of December 1971, what would have happened was there would have been a huge economic corridor going through India from West Pakistan to East Pakistan. That is what Nawaz Sharif said, which is absolute baloney and hogwash. Because to have an economic corridor, you must produce something. Bangladesh produces. Bangladesh is amongst the world's leaders in textile. It is the world's one of the world's leaders in jute production and so many other things. Bangladesh is really coming up as an economy. They're doing well for themselves. They're hardworking, intelligent people. What about Pakistan? Even if you create a corridor, what is going to go? I can understand from Bangladesh things moving to Pakistan. That I can understand because the Bangladeshis have done well for themselves and they've created this ecosystem, in their country. So they manufacture, they produce, they export to the world. They have a very decent, forex reserve and all of that. So let us assume that what Nawaz Sharif is saying is right, and Nawaz Sharif says that, from East to West Pakistan, there would have been a movement of goods. Yes, from East to West, yes, but from the West to East, what we knew as West Pakistan before 71, and right now, if we talk about it, this entire thing about Pakistan, West Pakistan, now proper Pakistan, it makes nothing except for maybe they have good food and something like that, and maybe a few terrorist outfits and all that. Apart from that, Pakistan is not known. Name one Pakistani brand. Name one Pakistani brand that is famous across the world. I'm not talking about Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. I'm talking about production stuff. I'm talking about goods. Does Pakistan have one brand? It doesn't have anything because they don't make anything. They don't manufacture anything. I mean, this is a country where 70% of the people are involved in agriculture and they still import food grains. Imagine. Now, he also said, Nawaz Sharif, that Pakistan needs to have an independent foreign policy, which again I find quite funny because a country that, begs for money so that it can, eat in the evening. If they beg in the morning, they eat in the evening. How can that country have an independent foreign policy? How is it even possible? Because when you take so much of money and regularly from people, they will have something to say about your internal matters. You're talking about an independent foreign policy. State Bank of Pakistan's chairman is an IMF appointee. How is it even possible that you'll have an independent foreign policy? Everything is controlled by the Americans and the Chinese in Pakistan. The Pakistanis are not allowed to say anything, even their army chief. In fact, General Hamid Gul, in one of his old videos, General Hamid Gul was saying that, no, it's an iconic video in the sense that he said, and General Hamid Gul was the guy who started terrorism in Kashmir and was responsible for this entire Mujahideen infrastructure in Afghanistan. He was the chief of the ISI, DG ISI. And General Hamid Gul said in his video that the army chief of Pakistan is appointed in Washington, DC. And these are iconic words. You know, he said that we don't have the authority to appoint our own army chief. That stuff is done in Washington, DC. For Nawaz Sharif to say that we should have an independent foreign policy, you've got to be independent first. The country itself is enslaved. How can a country that is enslaved by China, enslaved by America, think of an independent foreign policy? That is why I tell Pakistanis, and they don't like it when I say this, but 14th of August 1947 was a fraud. Pakistan never became independent. Even today, Pakistan is not independent. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you like this video. If you like this video, press the like button. And I'll see you again tomorrow with another fresh video. Till then, Jai Hind.